One second. We're back. This is 10 WWE moves adjusted to make them safer. I saw that move by Ray Phoenix on SmackDown. I never seen anybody use the Muscle Buster. He turned it into a variation, but it's still a Muscle Buster. They showed Kevin Owens on the screen because the pile driver he does, or I guess did since he's injured, probably gonna be out for a couple years. He'll return in like 10 years. Um, what is it? I think after he did that pile driver, Penta debuted, and I think he did his own variation of the Penta driver. It's a pile driver.
Moves adjusted to make them safer. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. The Doomsday Device. The Doomsday Device was a finishing move of the legendary team the Legion of Doom. Whilst the move looked fantastic upon execution, it became really dangerous as they had injured wrestlers in the past due to how awkwardly they forced to land upon being hit with the move. A variation of the move was offered by Billy and Chuck in late 2001, and upon seeing the move for the first time, it's apparent that the two wanted to deliver a safe yet unique version of the popular move. When the wrestler would jump from the top rope, usually Billy Gunn, they would make sure their opponent's neck was supported, and they would basically guide the wrestler safely down to the mat without them flipping in an unnatural position. The move, as far as we know, injured a total of 0 wrestlers during their run using the move, and it was even used on non-wrestlers such as Eric Bischoff, which was no doubt a sign that the move was completely safe. Number 9. The Stunner. When Stone Cold Steve Austin first delivered the Stunner, it was labeled as a cutter-style move. The move looked fine upon execution, yet based on how the move was delivered, the move could have led to injuries down the line. Austin took the bump in an awkward manner, and he wasn't yet going straight to his backside, and he was taking a traditional back bump. For his opponent, they would just awkwardly plop down without any direction, which certainly opened the door for botches and mishaps. Thankfully, Austin would perfect the move as the years went on, and Austin would adjust the move so they would sit down on his backside, whilst the wrestler would move forwards before taking a back bump. Number 8. Mick Foley's Pile Driver. The pile driver is labeled as one of the most dangerous moves in wrestling, so when Mick Foley introduced the move into his moveset, he offered a slight variation, which would keep the move safe. Foley's variation was known as the stump puller, and Foley would pull at the wrestler's tights. Whilst this often looked terrifying, this pull allowed the opponent to spike their head either into the mat or Foley's thighs, and in turn avoid hurting their neck. Unlike most pile drivers, there were never any reports that Foley hurt anyone with the move, and this is likely why Foley was permitted to use the move despite the ban on pile drivers being company-wide in WWE. Number 7. Kevin Owens' Pile Driver. In the modern era WWE, a wrestler delivering a pile driver was unheard of, but that was until it became a big part of Kevin Owens' character in 2024. WWE allowing Owens to use the banned move showed just how much faith they had in him as a wrestler and how they were trusting him to not injure anyone with the move. The trust was furthered when WWE would allow Owens to hit the move on top names such as Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and the fact that these names were comfortable with the spot added to Owens' reputation. Owens' version of the move would be a relatively safe package pile driver, but it was when Owens delivered the move on Rhodes where he decided to make a subtle adjustment. When delivering the move on Rhodes on Saturday night's main event, Owens would purposely clean his hands on his shorts before executing the move. This meant that Owens wouldn't lose his grip, and he could make sure that Rhodes landed safely. The clip of Owens' adjustment quickly went viral, and fans were quick to praise Owens for doing everything he could to make the move completely safe. Number 6. The Rack Attack. The initial Rack Attack move performed by Nikki Bella was cited as one of the reasons why she had extensive problems with her neck. The popular finisher put a ton of pressure onto her neck area, and it was easy to see why this had caused her so many obstacles. There was concern that Nikki was never going to be able to wrestle again following a 2015 neck break, and if she did compete again, then the move would have to be retired completely. Thankfully, the former Divas champion would return to the ring, and Nikki surprisingly didn't retire the move altogether, she just changed the way the move was done. Nikki would avoid taking any pressure onto her neck area, and she would spin her opponent outwards, while she would take a back bump. This TKO style move looked great upon execution, and it was completely safe for both Nikki and her opponent. Nikki would also smartly introduce a secondary finisher, which was a forearm smash. Whilst on paper this move sounded somewhat underwhelming, Nikki was able to put extensive force into the move, and the move was able to get over and beat.
Pi.org is going to be your new favorite browser extension. With Pi Adblock, visit your favorite websites and watch ads disappear. However, you can
be considered a credible and legitimate finisher. Number 5. The STFU. John Cena debuted the STFU in 2005, and the idea was to give Cena a credible alternative submission-based finishing move. When Cena first delivered the move on Chris Masters on Raw, the move looked tremendous. Cena locked it in tight, and it legitimately looked like he was choking Masters out. Unfortunately, over time, Cena would loosen the move up to make it safer. Whilst this is appreciated, Cena's variation was horrendously done, as Cena would make little to no contact with the opponent's face or neck, and it became a move that was often mocked by the fans. It's likely that WWE didn't want to create an image of their poster child choking wrestlers in the PG era, but it may have been a smart idea to move away from the move, and for Cena to introduce a more credible looking submission move. Number 4. The Spear. There have been some brutal spears over the years in WWE. Goldberg's spear was prone to just run down whoever was in the way, and recently Bron Breakker has been delivering some of the most memorable spears in the modern era when delivering the iconic move. But when it comes to Edge, he opted for a different style of finisher. Whilst Edge could have easily delivered the move as if he was putting as much force and intensity in as possible, the Rated R superstar opted to basically hug his opponent and safely bring them down to the mat. Now, this didn't mean that Edge's spear was poorly executed, it was just obvious that Edge was trying to make his opponents land as safely as possible. Number 3. The Tombstone Piledriver. The Tombstone Piledriver has been amended a number of times over the years. When the Deadman first delivered the move, he was prone to having the opponent over his shoulder, and he would sometimes jump in the air and spike his opponent right into the mat. This is something that he did upon his debut in WWE, and it looked devastating. And naturally, this could lead to injury, and it's not worth taking any risks when it comes to head and neck landings. Some fans have theorized that Hulk Hogan was partly responsible for the Deadman switching up the move, as Hogan falsely claimed that The Undertaker hurt his neck with the move at Survivor Series in 1991, even though you can clearly see on the video footage that his head hits nowhere near the chair. The Deadman's adjustment of the move saw him retire the jumping element of the move, and he would also bring his opponent's leg around his head to safely bring them down. This was a much safer version of the move, and there were never any reports or rumors that it led to an injury. Number 2. The Pedigree. The Pedigree is one of the most famous moves in wrestling history, but when the move was first delivered on WWE programming, there were concerns that the move was outright dangerous. When Triple H first did the Pedigree on WWE television, he kept a hold of his opponent's arms, and when he hit it on wrestler Marty Garner, Garner managed to get spiked headfirst into the mat. According to Garner, during an interview on In the Weeds, he genuinely had zero idea what the Pedigree was, and this clearly impacted the way he took the move. A lack of knowledge regarding the move was detrimental, and the game needed to change how the move was delivered so nobody else could suffer any further harm. Moving forward, Triple H would completely let go of his opponent's arms, and this would allow the wrestler to take either a front face bump or a bump to their knees and ultimately avoid any harm. And number 1. The Punk Kick. Due to increasing concerns relating to head trauma and concussions, WWE would be reserved in allowing the legendary Randy Orton to use the Punk Kick. The move would basically become semi-retired, but that was until 2020 when Orton would bring back a new version of his iconic Legend Killer persona. Now, to make the move more safe, Orton would deliver the move on names that WWE knew could take it safely, and WWE would also allow Orton to pre-tape a lot of the action, so they could make sure that his opponents were okay. Orton would also work out a way to angle his foot so that he wasn't deliberately blasting his opponent right in the skull. The former WWE champion would discuss the safety adjustments during an interview with TalkSport, so a lot of people didn't want to take it, and of course, I kicked Vince. Everyone remembers in 2009 when I kicked Vince and I gave him a concussion. I was so excited I had this opportunity that I lost track and sight of the number one priority: take care of your opponent. Now, just with me being a little older and the current situation with the pandemic where we were taping for the past few months, I was able to play with the idea of bringing the Punk Kick back. Since I was playing the Legend Killer, I had to bring the Punk Kick back. I've devised a way to tip the kick whether we're taping or live where it's 100% safe and I'm not going to hurt anybody. It was great to see the move back on WWE programming, and whilst it was initially frustrating that WWE banned the move, it was understandable why they banned the move for such a long time. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE moves that were adjusted to make them safer. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more.
I think he was going to start to bring it back to when he took on Kevin Owens, I wonder if they're gonna get rid of those claims since Kevin Owens is injured. They're just gonna do something else. Just stick with the RKO. I don't know. Anyways, thank y'all for watching.